Hey guys, I am Nat, and as you may or may not know, I am quite an avid sailor. I used to be competitive, but in recent years, due to severe illness and then going to university, I've had to step back from it a little bit, but I do still compete and I really enjoy it. Since 2016, at the age of 16, which is when I arrived here in the UK, I've competed in two youth national championships, 2 national championships, 1 youth European championship, and 2 youth world championships. Yes. And you know, it was a huge, super steep learning curve. I'd never done any of the RYA stages or anything like that, any kind of formal training. So for me, it was a super steep learning curve, and even for my mum as well, who just happened to be the person who would come sailing with me the most. Now, neither of my parents are sailing, so I have non-sailing parents, which basically means that neither of them had ever sailed or knew that much about sailing or about how it all works. My mum can sail, but it's just something that she did once on a school trip. So it's not like that in-depth race performance knowledge. Everything I learnt about like the in-depth parts of laser specific sailing came from either coaches who were slightly annoyed that they had to teach this basic stuff at the level that they were supposed to be coaching at, or by parents who just took pity on me, and my mum just being there like, we don't know, sorry. And so I was very fortunate to learn from that. But if there's any way that I could help awkward people like me who don't like going to ask for help, just to avoid that kind of, I don't want to say pain, but like discomfort, then I'd like to help out however I can. So today I'm going to be putting telltales on my new sail. So to start off, what are telltales? Telltales for me are little stickers that have like a piece of yarn or something coming out, and they're positioned up and down the sail, and they basically tell you whether the airflow over your sail is turbulent, which is not good, or smooth, which is good. If your sail is trimmed correctly, then the telltales on both sides will fly parallel, kind of like this. If you're under trimmed, which means you need to sheet in, then your windward one, that is the telltale that is closest to you, will fly a little bit higher than the leeward one, which is the one that's on the other side of the sail. However, if your leeward one, which is the one again on the other side of the sail from you, is flying a little bit higher, that means that you're over trimmed and you need to let the sail out. Let's get to sticking them on. So we'll start by opening up the sail, and it's preferable if you can do this in sort of a large area where you can spread the sail out flat, but in my case that's not possible, so we're going to try and do it in kind of sections. Next, you have to kind of decide where you want the telltales. That's kind of personal. You can choose, and there's all different ways of doing it. I'll just show you how I've done mine, and here are some pictures for reference. They're the ones that I used because I couldn't be asked to get another sail, my old sail out and unroll it and then just stick on top, which is another thing that you could do. I have these little pre-bought telltales, and they're like little circular stickers, pre-measured yarn, but you don't necessarily need that. You could absolutely do this by yourself. So mine are cut into circles for me. I've got 3 bits of green string and 3 bits of red string. Obviously green goes on starboard side and red goes on port side. What I've done here is I've taken my little circles and I've cut a small hole in the middle. So what I'm doing is I'm passing one end, which is the end that will be underneath the sticker, just through the hole. That way the rest of the telltale is obviously free to go as it likes with the wind, and it also makes it kind of more sticky and is more likely to hold on. There's a higher surface area of stickiness on the sail. I also recommend tying off the end of the yarn because the yarn does unravel in water, so that's just what I've done, and it will just basically stop the unraveling there. And again, you won't have to cut them, they'll last a bit longer. Knots can just be normal regular knots. It's just yarn, so it doesn't need anything special. So once you're happy and comfortable with how it is, you take off the sticker part to reveal the adhesive, and you press it on, try to get it as flat as possible, work out any kinks, and you've done it. So with the positioning of the telltale, what you're going to want to do is check that the telltale isn't going to get stuck to the batten pockets or the stitching, or it's not going to touch the window or the mask pocket, like because the wool will get stuck to the stitching if it gets wet, or it's so when it rains or if you capsize, and basically just make it more difficult for your telltales to help you. So if you have wet telltales that are stuck to the stitching of your sail, then they're just going to be completely useless. So once you've stuck it down, you've done the 3 on one side of the sail, you're going to turn the sail over and do the same on the other side. Now, some people do it slightly underneath or slightly above. I personally don't. I just stick it right on top of where the other one was, because it means I don't have to do any more measuring or any checking. Again, make sure that you're checking red goes on port side, green goes on starboard side. Again, you don't have to have red and green, you can have different colours, you don't have to have different colours for the different sides of the sails. It's whatever you want. I just happen to like this. So finally I am done. I've got all my telltales on, I'm happy with how they are. I just checked one more time the reference, but at the end of the day, it's not difficult to peel them off. It's kind of annoying, but again, you can always just make more and just stick them as you like and go changing them. It's one of those things that you have to get used to and find out how you like it to be done as you go along. But super easy to peel them off gently and carefully. Sometimes you could even reuse them, but again, you can make them yourself, so it's not really that expensive of a thing to say, I don't like where this is, peel it off, bin it, and grab another one. You'll see here that I'm refolding my sail. It's definitely not recommended and always kind of gets like a little bit of flack. It's much better to roll up your sail, but I was transporting my new sail in a backpack on the train. I thought maybe folding it might just be a little bit easier to slide it into my backpack. But yes, try to avoid folding your sail. But that's something we can talk about in another video. So I hope this was really helpful for you. It's just how I do it and how I've been taught to do it. To those of you who have sailing parents, give them a hug and tell them you love them, because they're really amazing. For those of you who don't have sailing parents, give them a hug, tell them you love them, because they are perhaps the most patient and amazing parents that you could possibly have. And forgive yourself for not knowing things. It's really not on you. I had a lot of kind of guilt and annoyance almost, that I felt stupid because I just didn't know things like how ratchet straps work. But honestly, forgive yourself, and definitely never ever blame your parents. The fact that you are here right now makes, you know, them the most adaptable and amazing people. They are only here because it interests you, not because of any other reason. I really hope this helped you out. If there's any questions, leave them below in the comments. If you have any suggestions or something that you'd like to know more about, again, let me know in the comments and I will see if it's something that I know how to do and thus can make a video to help you out with. But thank you so much, and as my uncle says, may the winds be ever in your favour.